It's like a fun thing at work to move the patients around and to get them in. If there's like a quiet Friday, we'll message a few of the patients that are coming in later in the month or later in the upcoming months and say, we've got an opening. Do you want to come? So I think that's motivation for them. I think my big thing is you don't push treatment. You educate the patient and let them know what they need. You don't push it. You don't want to seem salesy. And I think that's the problem that us dentists have, is that everyone thinks we're trying to scam them and we're taking their money, and you just don't push treatment. You have to explain. So marketing for me, even from before I started, was part of my startup budget. I knew I had to market. I'm in a really competitive area. How else do I get my name out there? I am storefront, so people walk by, and New York is a very transitional city, so many people are moving in and out of these like tall apartment buildings. But how do you get your name out there? And the only way I could think about doing that was marketing.
Welcome back to another episode of Dental Marketing Go. I'm your host, Gary Bird. I'm the owner of SMC, where we help offices just like yours level the playing field against the big guys out there so you can grow the way that you want. But it's hard to grow when you're in Manhattan, one of the most competitive markets in the United States. And today I have the one, the only Dr. Singh, who's not only had a successful startup, but she's actually launching her second startup right next door. And I'm so excited because she's going to share how she got her team to have over 400% ROI on her marketing, as well as 90% phone conversion, and what she did differently with this practice to get it off the floor really quickly, and some of the things that didn't work with marketing and how she made changes to get her practice moving the way that she wants. You're not going to want to miss this episode. Stay tuned. All right, we are live, and today we have a special episode. I'm excited about this one because we are talking to someone who is in a super competitive market in the Upper West Side of Manhattan. If you don't know, that's 7 dentists right on her block, and they've been absolutely crushing it when it comes to their marketing and their results. And so today we're going to be jumping into what did they actually do to get these results. So first of all, thank you so much for coming on. And let's start with what have you been doing new patient wise? What's been working well for you?
Sorry for interrupting the show, but I got something special for you. So we only got 27 more seats at our in-person event. We're going to be helping you grow in 2026. We're going to be putting together a growth map for you, helping you with attracting the right kind of team members, attracting the right kind of patients, and getting your systems in place for next year so you can actually grow. Now, this event is normally $499, but I have a discount code down below for $199. Make sure you sign up right away. There's only a few seats left. We look forward to seeing you soon. Now back to the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. We've really just been trying to use the phone conversion as our big bringing patients in through the door. We did a bit of your training that SMC sent through, but it is really a patient-forward practice. You pick up the phone, you answer as if you're their best friend, you make sure that they get in within 2 or 3 days of when they want to come in. And we try and move the schedule around to make sure that they are a priority, and that's what patients want. We also do a ton of online marketing, which is bringing patients through as well. So I think that's been really helpful with the new patients coming through.
Yeah, I'm looking at your conversion rate. You're at 90%. So that puts you at like the elite. And most people don't understand this. Everybody, it's so funny. Every dentist that we talk to and everyone I interact with, they all say, no, we're amazing on the phones. When we get in and actually measure it, the average dentist is only at 50%. So if you get to like 75%, you're doing really good. So besides the scripting that you added in and getting patients in right away, is there anything else that you've done to like motivate your team or help your team understand how important the phones are?
I think when they see that the practice is busy, they're happy. There's a lot of motivation with it's kind of like a game, like Tetris, making sure the schedule's packed and full and moving patients around to fit into certain columns, making sure if there's an opening, we kind of make it's like a fun thing at work to move the patients around and to get them in. If there's like a quiet Friday, we'll message a few of the patients that are coming in later in the month or later in the upcoming months and say, we've got an opening. Do you want to come? So I think that's motivation for them. My office manager does get a percent of collection depending on if we hit our goals or not. And our goals change every month. But we've got a new patient goal, we've got a collection goal, we've got a total patient goal. So there's goals that we're trying to hit while we're doing this.
So do you sick her on the front desk and say, okay, I need, if we're going to hit our production, we need new patients. So go and help the team with the phones. Is that kind of how you did it?
She actually does sit at the front, but we've got a receptionist as well. And the receptionist actually handles the phone calls mainly. And she's really learned, she's only been with us for a year and she didn't have any dental background previously, but she's really learned how to answer the phones and make sure the patient comes first and explain what's going on. We also really try to ask, where did you find this from? So that we kind of have knowledge about where are we looking again to bring these new patients in. We talk a lot to your team. We're texting them, we're chatting with them once a month, and that kind of gives us insight as well. And then we're looking at alignable, making sure we're really getting these patients through the door.
That's amazing. And then, so I'm looking at your new patient numbers. It looks like your high this year was 94, and then your second highest was 81. How did that impact your office, having that many new patients?
I mean, incredibly, right? It brings in production, it brings in collection, it brings in treatment. I was able to hire associates. We are starting to build out an expansion practice. So it's incredible. And there's obviously months that are lower, months that are higher, but the high months bring these patients in through the door and they bring collection and production in.
I was looking at your ROI. Yeah. So in Q1, you have a 450% ROI from your marketing, and that's rolling up. That's still going up over time. How have you done that? Because a lot of people, I mean, you see people online, you hear from dentists, it's like people don't want to accept treatment. What are you doing to get these patients are already coming in? We talked about the phones, we talked about the marketing. What are you getting them to do to say yes to treatment?
I think my big thing is you don't push treatment. You educate the patient, let them know what they need. You don't push it. You don't want to seem salesy. And I think that's the problem that us dentists have, is that everyone thinks we're trying to scam them and we're taking their money, and you just don't push treatment. You have to explain. We've got an iTero scanner. We take pictures. We take x-rays. We've got Overjet and AI. So we explain more than we push. And there's some people that don't agree and say, no, my old dentist has been watching these cavities for the past 10 years. And you say, okay. And then when they come back and they're in pain, you've already explained to them and given them the knowledge. So you have to, I think it's more so giving the knowledge versus pushing treatment. And I come from practices, and the New York scene is very pushy, but I come from practices where they used to like force you to do treatment, or you'd get upset, or like patients would get upset, or just, you don't want it to be that toxic environment for a patient. The dentist is already scary enough for them. You want them to feel comfortable, and you don't want them to feel like you're scamming them, because that's what everybody thinks we're doing.
I feel that. I'm a marketing guy in the dental world, and every day I get told, Gary, you're a scam artist. So I totally understand, because dentists go through the same thing, and it can get like depressing. But I love that you're using both images and AI. I don't talk to a lot of dentists that are using both. I know the images. When I go into the dentist and they're like, hey, Gary, you need do, and they say all these big words, I don't even know what they mean. I just kind of sit there and shake my head, yes, with that smile, like, okay. But I have no idea what they're talking about. But then when they show me if you show a patient on an x-ray, they still don't really get it. But when you show the pictures and then you explain the AI on top of it, and you say, here's what AI said that's going on in your mouth, and it caught this in your x-ray, that really builds a lot of confidence, because you're showing them from multiple different touch points.
Exactly. And when you show them, they understand it, because it's a very show and tell profession.
Absolutely. Did it take time for you to adapt to AI, or did you just adopt it? Because I know a lot of dentists are very hesitant about adding in the AI component.
Yeah, I don't particularly love it for a lot of things, because sometimes they over index, or if you're not reading the x-rays properly. I actually got it because I had hired a new grad who was on the team for a little bit, and I was seeing that he wasn't being able to treat and plan properly and effectively, and was missing things. But then I started kind of using it here and there, and I now look at it just as like a second set of eyes, because I've been doing this for a long time. So you kind of know what you're looking for and what you're going to watch and what you're going to tell the patient, that we need to treat this, or this is going to get worse. But I've been looking at it secondarily just to make sure that I'm not missing anything, or that they're seeing something more than I see. And it's been helpful, because then I can explain it to the patient and say, look, this is the x-ray that I've been showing you earlier. This is the red, and this is where your cavity is. It's growing, and we need to take care of this now. Or it's yellow and we don't need to take care of it now, and we'll keep an eye on it. and we'll take a look at it in 6 months.
It's almost like a second opinion without leaving your office. Is that right? Is that kind of how you look at it?
Kind of, it is. And it gives you, because as an owner, you kind of feel isolated as well because you're an independent provider. You don't have your friends at work with you. You can't just text them every minute to be like, what do you think about this? So it does kind of help give you that like, ooh, okay, did I see that? Or is that just like, am I double guessing seeing something? So it's been helpful in terms of that.
What about for your associates? Has it helped them gain confidence with the patients? Like the patients, when they explain it to the patients that, hey, this is what I saw and AI saw it too. Does it help that way as well?
I think so. I think AI, it's such an enigma right now that some patients feel like it's a bit of a faff that we're showing them this and that we're like over treatment planning and you've got AI showing me this. And some patients are like, oh, this is cool. This is like very creative and new. And now I understand what you're showing me. So it's been a 50-50 split depending on who you're talking to. And it's not like certain ages or certain ways. Everybody's just, it's like the same as x-rays. Like some people are so skeptical to take x-rays and they'll be like 20 years old. And you're like, well, where did you get that? Where did you get that fear from? You're so young. But it's just whoever wants to acknowledge that we're going into that part of life, I guess, or journey. Yeah.
I totally hear you. It's the same thing in marketing every single day. Someone's reaching out going, give me more AI. And then some people are like, oh no, AI is scary. I don't want to give it my information. So we're definitely in an interesting time. Do you use patient financing in your office? How have you kind of navigated that? Because I know in your area, there's a lot of different kinds of insurances and different things like that. Some I'm sure you're in network with, out of network. How do you navigate that?
So we're in network with a ton of PPOs, which has been okay actually, because a lot of the dentists in the area are not participating providers. So that's helped bring us patients. We've got a few fee-for-service patients. This area is actually financially well-to-do, so it's been helpful in that sense. But we've been insurance-based since the beginning.
And that works for you? Do you see any downsides? You're going to move it, keep it? Like because I see it as kind of a competitive advantage. If everybody's out of network and you're in network and people have money, then it does help get people in, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think, listen, insurance is its own ball game, and we all wish we didn't have to take insurance, but it gives patients a little bit of like, okay, well, I'm at least going to get my cleaning done. You get them in for the cleaning and then you can explain to them what's going on and they'll come back. Even if they don't get it done then, they'll come back in 6 months and they're still thinking about it. Like something like an Invisalign. You talk to them the first time around, it's in the back of their mind that when they come in, oh, Dr. Singh said I should do this, and this is what my bite looks like, and this is why I need a clear aligner therapy. So they're still thinking about it, and coming in for their cleanings that are covered under insurance brings them through the door. And if you can get them through the door, then I can talk to a wall. So yeah, I can. So if I can talk to you, it's just trying to train my associates to be the same way and understand that the more you educate these patients, the more they want to do treatment. They want to feel comfortable with you. It starts with education.
That's amazing. And I know you guys are working on your Google reviews. How's that going?
Yeah.
You have amazing reviews.
Yeah, thank you. It's tricky. I'm not a big fan of asking people for reviews because I come from a practice where they used to
push that really heavily.
Yes, and make them do it in the chair, and then the patient would go home and be really angry or change the review or whatever, right? So I come from, like, I really love doing dentistry and I want patients to love coming to the dentist, but it's still really hard for me to say, hi, I need a review. Or even because if I don't push it, my staff doesn't push it particularly. So it's something we're working on.
You're definitely getting more. I'm just counting, you've gotten like 10, 15 over the last month. So you guys are doing a good job. You're definitely adding them, and that is, you're moving in the right direction. So good job on that. You said, you had a friend that isn't marketing right now and they're struggling, and there's still a stigma around marketing and dental and those kind of things, almost like you're cheating or something like that. Has your opinion changed over the years, or kind of how did you get to the conclusion about marketing?
So marketing for me, even from before I started, was part of my startup budget. I knew I had to market. I'm in a really competitive area. How else do I get my name out there? I am storefront, so people walk by, and New York is a very transitional city. So many people are moving in and out of these like tall apartment buildings. But how do you get your name out there? And the only way I could think about doing that was marketing. I was working with a company prior to working with SMC, and it just didn't seem like they knew how to effectively market what I was looking for. And I think the way that we chat with, like how we chat with your staff, is I think that's really important because if you can see marketing doing something, then you feel like the money's worth it. It's a lot of money because there's Google, there's social media, there's just a ton of things that need to happen. And my previous marketing company used to sit down with me once in every 3 months and say, like it'll happen. It's just a startup. Like it takes some time. And
Yeah, that's rough at the beginning though, when you don't have patients coming in and your office is empty and you have bills, right? Especially in Manhattan.
and you're paying a lot of money to this marketing team. So you're just like, well, and they keep saying, well, you should pay more. And you're like, well, I can't pay more if I don't have patients in the door. So yeah, it'd be great to pay more, but I can't.
The number one thing I've over the years, I've tracked like happy clients that do really well, and then the clients that don't do well, aren't happy or leave. And the number one trend that I've noticed is that the doctors who are involved in their marketing, meaning they're meeting with us on a regular basis, they are the most successful. Like hands down, they all do well, all of them. Like 100% of them. And guess what happens to the dentists that don't meet with us on a regular basis? Like I would say 90% of them don't do well. Every once in a while, there's somebody that they delegate it to and they're amazing and they're really good. But it's more times than not, they end up failing. And it's because marketing requires a lot of system changes, right? Like, oh, we got to change the pricing of this, or, oh, we got to put new scripting in, or, hey, we have to change the way we're booking and we're scheduling people. And the front desk person can't do that. The hygienist can't make those decisions. So it has to be the doctor involved with that. So I really like that you're calling that out, that you're like, hey, I'm meeting and I need to meet on a regular basis, because I really believe that's the recipe for success and really marketing and just growth overall.
Yeah, definitely. It's really important because you do see the growth and you see where your money is going. And when you have a team like yours who's been super supportive from the beginning, even when we weren't converting like we wanted to, when we first started working with you guys, and I was still like, because I came from a marketing team that wasn't working. So I was so skeptical at the beginning, but you need that communication. You need that monthly check-in. You need the track. You need to be able to see like where the patients are coming from, where the money is going. And it makes you a bit more comfortable to be like, okay, well, I'm opening a second practice. This is when I need to start putting more money in. This is what I need to do for the website. So it makes it feel a lot better.
Yeah, you guys haven't, you were doing good on the phones before, but now you're just absolutely crushing it. So you've taken all that data and you've just compounded it over and over and over again. So amazing job to you and your team. And then do you want to talk a little bit about your second office, like what you're doing there? That's really exciting.
Yeah. So the space next door actually was an ophthalmology office, and I wasn't ready to expand, but I knew I wanted to at some point. It's not connected. So there is we're in an apartment building. So there is a front desk in the middle, but we have 10 windows in New York City, which is crazy. And it's going to be a cosmetic and specialist office. So we're going to try and do all of our like big cosmetic cases, so like veneers, and then do all on X's with the specialist. I've got 2 specialists that come in. I've got a sedation specialist. I've got 2 associates. So it's going to add on to my stress level, but I aim to be crazy and keep adding on to it.
Gotta love it. Once you start growing, it's hard to stop. I always tell people that. It's like, once you start getting that ball rolling and things start clicking, it's like, okay, what's the next thing? And so are you going to refer over to yourself then? Is that the main strategy, is like market top of funnel GP, get as many patients in as possible, and then push those people back down and through over to your other office?
Yeah. So I think that's what actually we've been talking to your team about is, do you want to market it as a specialist practice? And I don't necessarily want to market it as a specialist practice. I want to bring the GPs through. I want to see them or have an associate see them. And then I want to then push them to the specialist, because then at that point, they're my patients then, instead of bringing them from a different practice and then sending them back there. I'm not averse to that, but I don't necessarily want to do that. And at the beginning, it's still going to be a GP practice because it's another 6 chairs and I need to be able to fill them. So I'll put hygiene in there. I'll put GP patients in there. And the goal is to make it a specialist and cosmetic practice.
That's really smart, because the cost to acquire a GP patient is, you might pay, I'm looking at some of your numbers, you pay 200 to 300, maybe 400 on the high side to get a GP patient through the door. To get a full arch patient through the door, it can be thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? To get a smile makeover through the door can be thousands of dollars. But if you can double dip, where you're paying, let's just use a round number, $300 to get the GP patient in, they need to then get all on 4 or all on X or, smile makeover, veneers, whatever, you're double dipping on your marketing. So that's amazing. That's a really, really smart way to do it. I've seen that a lot in like pedo does the same thing with ortho and aligners. Pedo is much easier and cheaper to drive than ortho and so on. So that's really exciting. When do you plan on opening?
So construction's actually going to start sometime next week.
All right. So thank you so much for coming on, Dr. Singh. I know that you don't have anything to gain to taking 30 minutes out of your day. You just wanted to help other people and learn about what you're doing and how you did it. So I thank you for coming on and sharing your knowledge with the world.
Thanks so much, Gary.